Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're having a good day. It's really gross here today. There's been a bit of snow today, so that's no good. Hopefully it's going to go away. I had a dentist appointment. Hate dentist appointments. Went well, but I still hate dentist appointments. But anyways, that's done. Now I'm here back at the studio and putting together my blog for today. Somebody had asked me yesterday about good fats versus bad fats, so I thought that would make an excellent topic for today. So I was just looking at some stuff and I got some information here that I'm going to share with you. Hey Ryan, how's it going? So fats, we need them in our diet. So there was a time where we avoided fats at all costs, and we avoided all fats. So we were avoiding the healthy fats as well, but we need fat. So just like protein and carbohydrates, we need healthy fats in our diet in order for our bodies to function properly. So the trick is to know which ones are the good ones and which ones are the ones that you should stay away from. So that's what we're going to talk about. And why do we need fat in our diet? Well, fats are actually needed to build cell membranes as well as the sheath around the sheath surrounding the nerves. So very important. Also to help absorb some vitamins and minerals. So, you know, when you hear that a vitamin is fat soluble, that means that it needs fat in order for it to be able to be absorbed in your body. And it's also essential for blood clotting and muscle movement. It's also going to affect your skin and your hair. So if you're not eating enough healthy fats, your skin and your hair are going to be dry and brittle. So very important to get those healthy fats. But they're not all healthy, so we'll talk about that. So good fats, you're pretty much safe if you're getting them from your vegetables. And yes, vegetables do have a small amount of fat in them, as well as nuts, seeds, and fish. So those are really your best sources of healthy fats. And there are two types of healthy fats that you need to include in your diet for sure, monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats. So monounsaturated fats, you find those in olive oil, peanut oil, canola oil, safflower oil, sunflower oil. So with the oils, the healthy oils, avocado, and most nuts. And it became apparent that these fats are healthy when they were studying people in Greece as well as other parts of the Mediterranean, and they noticed that even though they consumed quite a high level of fat, they were very healthy. There was very little heart disease. And what they realized was that their main source of fat was actually olive oil. So sticking with the monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats is very heart healthy. Hey Jansen, how's it going? So there's really no recommended daily intake of monounsaturated fats, but the Institute of Medicine does recommend using mono and polyunsaturated fats as much as possible to replace saturated fats and especially trans fats, which we'll talk about later. So polyunsaturated fats, they are actually essential fats, which means our body absolutely has to have them in order to function properly, but our body does not make them, so we have to get them from our diet. So good sources, flax seeds, walnuts, canola oil again, for both mono and poly, and fatty fish such as salmon, mackerel, and sardines. So you have to get those in your diet. Your body absolutely needs them, and your body cannot make them, so you have to get them from your food. So those are the two really good ones that you want to include in your diet for sure. The worst type of fat, the bad fat you have to stay away from is trans fats. So absolutely avoid trans fats as much as you can, actually completely avoid them. And if you're reading a food label and it says partially hydrogenated oil on it, that's just a big fancy name for trans fats, so stay away from that. So the polyunsaturated, or sorry, the partially hydrogenated oil, it's what they're doing is they're taking healthy oils and they're adding hydrogen to them, and this is so that they stay solid so that they don't go rancid. But in our bodies, very, very bad for us. So you'll find trans fats in such things as margarine. I think they make trans fat free margarine now, but whatever, stay away from margarine. It's not real food. You'll find it in vegetable shortening, commercial cookies and pastries, and French fries and stuff like that. So The foods that you kind of already know you should be avoiding, they have trans fats in them. And again, look at the label when you're buying something. So look for that partially hydrogenated oil, because that's trans fat. And what these trans fats do is they increase the amount of LDL cholesterol, which is our bad cholesterol, and this can lead to quite a lot of heart disease and stroke and that kind of thing. So it actually creates inflammation, and that's where it can lead to stroke, heart disease, and diabetes. And it actually also contributes to insulin resistance, so that can end up leading to type 2 diabetes. So nothing good. It's not going to do anything good in your body, so stay away from it. And here was an interesting, scary little fact that I read. Research from the Harvard School of Public Health showed that every 2% of calories from trans fat consumed daily, it increases your risk of heart disease by 23%. So if you're just eating 2% of your diet is trans fats, you're increasing your risk of heart disease by 23%. So that is substantial. That's huge. So just avoid them. Doesn't belong in your body. You don't need to eat them. If you are eating them now, you need to work on getting them out of your diet, because it's a real problem. And especially if heart disease happens to run in your family and you're already, kind of at a high risk anyways, definitely want to get rid of that trans fat. So then the last fat that I was going to talk about is saturated fat, and it's kind of, there's arguments on both sides, and so it might not be the best fat to consume, but there are some health benefits. So they're kind of the in-between fats, and these are the fats that are solid at room temperature. So like the fats that you find on red meat, cheese, butter, and coconut oil. So they're all solid at room temperature, but these foods do have some health benefits. And eating a lot of saturated fats can increase your total cholesterol, and it tends to increase your LDL more than the HDL. HDL is your good cholesterol, and when you increase your LDL, it can lead to blockages in arteries. But it was actually found that there really wasn't enough evidence to completely conclude that saturated fat increases the risk of heart disease. So most nutrition experts do recommend keeping your total consumption down to 10% or less of your total calories, but it's not to say that you have to avoid it altogether. So, I mean, like coconut oil has a lot of benefits. Cheese is a great source of protein. So, and butter too, that's another thing that has health benefits. So just watching the amount that you're eating. So don't go crazy on it. You can have a little bit, just not a lot. The only one you need to avoid is trans fats. So stay away from that. And if you're not sure how much you're getting in your diet, maybe for a few days, write down everything that you're eating and the amounts that you're eating, and just check it out. You can always ask me to take a look at it, and I'll figure it out for you, just to see if you are getting enough fats or maybe you're getting too much. I believe they recommend somewhere between 25 to 35% fat, the healthy fats. Anyone who's followed a ketogenic type diet, I think it goes up to like 50% fat or something like that, or even higher than that. It's quite high in fat, but a lot of this will also depend on your own health and what runs in your family. Like if you're predisposed to things like heart disease, then you have to look at adjusting your diet so that you're looking out for your health. So hope that kind of clears up the debate about fats. I know a lot of people were afraid to eat any kind of fat, and everyone kind of saw all fats as being bad. But there's good ones, and you need to have them in your diet. So if you want to see the ones that I mentioned, it's going to be in my blog. I'm going to post this on my blog, so you can go to holyfit.ca and check it out. Or you can leave a comment and ask me to list them, and I will happily do that for you. Or you can message me if you like. So I gotta go and get ready for more fun in the studio. Great to see you guys, and I'll see you again tomorrow. If you have any suggestions for topics, please throw them at me, because sometimes I don't know what to talk about. So if you tell me what you want to hear about, I can find out about it and talk about it. So I'll see you again tomorrow. Have an awesome evening.